G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome to the microphone Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
G'day world again. G'day world again. Well, it's that time of year to get the arms stretched as we board the etuals. Yes.
No, bring etuals up.
No. Went out yesterday, 20 knot nor'easter, and there's nothing like holding onto a spinnaker down when you're one of those things.
No.
It's great fun.
No.
Good to be back.
All that weight in your hand, yeah. We'll come back to that, I think, my friend. Let's bring in the other guy.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
So your arms BP like a Mold 11? Like just a little bit longer
No, well,
than your standard?
No, they're actually longer than the Mold 11 now, apparently. Apparently we're shorter.
How did that
So you've
happen?
done the mods? Mods are done?
Mods are done.
The, what do we call it? The
Mold 11.5.
piano accordion? Piano accordion?
Yeah.
Etual?
Etuals. Accordion etual.
Yeah, good. Jordan?
Yeah, let's move past that for the moment. I want to come back to it, but we'll leave it for later on in the show.
We will.
I want to bring in our guest.
You know, we like a bit of banter, Jordan, on the Facebook.
Yep.
And I just saw it. You know, these days they kind of have all these different ads about the best underwear for men, the best this, the best that.
Yep.
And there was one there for men with big heads. We found sunglasses for you.
Yes.
Specifically designed for dudes who are 5'10" with a 7'8" head on them.
It just doesn't go away.
They didn't use that exact terminology.
No.
But
yes, well, it's good to know because
it's pretty clear they've been listening.
I do have to get custom-made sunglasses to fit on my head. It is a rare honour to be blessed with a helium balloon for a head, but
And is that why you married an optometrist? So you have free access to good glasses?
Hang on. Oh, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course I love you, Jackie. Oh, yeah, sure.
yeah.
Up there for thinking, Up there for thinking.
That's it.
Good on you, mate. Well done.
Well done.
Not just a silly face, are you?
No. I want to get our guest in, boys. The reason we've pulled this show together because we're really interested in the whole adventure sailing thing at the moment. You can focus on lots of things. And one of the things is we got a group of guys on in episode 156 to talk about the Worrell 1000. And then not too long ago, we had the F18 Raid Worlds, the Stockholm Archipelago Raid, which is just insane. So we wanted to talk about both these because they interest us a lot. And of course, we've got an old mate who's just done both of them this year, and in fact won the Worrell 1000 as part of Team Australia. And we thought, let's give him a ring and get him on the show. So we'll get back on the show, Mr. Rod Waterhouse, legend of sailing, and even more so. How you going, mate?
Good. Great for the invite. Really appreciated the call and the chance to come and chat.
Good to have you back on, Rod.
Thank you.
What I want to know, the celebration, first of all, from the Worrell 1000. Talk to us about that. You're pretty pumped up with the boys when we interviewed you during episode 156, and then tell us how you celebrated. A few Budweisers on the beach.
It was huge. We did talk it up a little bit. We honestly didn't expect to win. So
Right.
The win was just a massive bonus. And the celebration was awesome. It was just an amazing group of people that we were with. The whole Worrell, the organisers, the fellow competitors, and obviously my team. So the celebration was all of us together in a room. It was a private function just with those people. And it was sensational. It's an amazing event, and the celebration at the end was just wonderful. Ending to it.
We all know Chris is not shy of. We know Chris is not shy of a bit of festivity, so I'm sure that he dragged that along quite nicely.
He did. He fit in very, very well. Yeah.
So,
excellent.
Chris being Chris Way, Easy Tiger fame, and then the main support was Brett White. So, and I remember before the event, we knew you had all your gear except your hulls, wasn't it? That's where we got to just before. We thought you were going to blow up a few, fill up a few cans and do the Darwin. You were going to do the Darwin esky race or whatever, the tin can race is what we thought was going to happen. But your boat got there like on the day or something. Is that right?
No, it was a disaster actually. So what happened? We got everything but the hulls, but the boat. So we were waiting up the top of the course, which is up in Virginia Beach with a dealer. Everything arrived except the hulls. So with 3 days to go, we bought a second-hand set of hulls. Put the boat together, then had to drive to the start line. We made the start by 12 hours, then had to assemble the boat for the first time, sail 2 hours to the start line. So we actually only just made the start on a boat, which wasn't new. Yeah. Wow. So it was an amazing effort to make it. And that's where Brett was instrumental in pulling the bits together. So it was incredible.
Oh, how's that? That is almost the Barkarati curse right there, because we were taking the piss out of you guys so much, and it was all a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
But expecting everything to come together.
Yeah.
And then
it didn't.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
It didn't. And the interesting thing is we had to make the decision because the new boat was about to arrive. It wasn't there. We had to make the decision: do we wait here another day or we go? And we made the right decision. We bought another boat, another set of hulls, and the best we could do, and we pulled it together. So it was remarkable, and we only just made the start.
Wow. Well, you obviously bought some fast hulls.
We did. The boat was quick. The boat, we ended up, we had very little preparation, obviously, and it came together nicely. And from out the box, it was pretty quick. It wasn't the quickest, but it was close.
The other thing, just before we get too crazy, and I think there was some navigation issues as well. It wasn't an easy, smooth event for you guys, was it?
It never is, and it's to do with, you're on a high performance boat in pretty rough conditions. It's not as if you're sitting on a yacht with a platform that you can actually hold a plotter or look at a plotter. You've basically got everything on your body, and we're going upwind in 2 to 2.5 to 3 meter seas, 25 to 30 knots of headwind, trying to stay on the boat, let alone navigate. So the navigation is challenging at the best of times, but the conditions we had made it really difficult.
But I heard you lost something. Like you didn't your plotter go, and then the rumor I heard was then Chris lost his, and then you were trying to navigate off your watch, and all you could get was your step count screen or something. Oh yeah, that story. So what happened is we were coming into a Cape Hatteras, which was we'd accidentally hit the front. So on this particular leg, it was a big downwind leg with spinnakers. And normally, if you've got a guy in front of you, you can lay back and he's your rabbit. You can follow him. So we
accidentally hit the front.
So we dialed back on the navigation and just followed the leading boat. And about 10 miles out, he flipped. So all of a sudden, Chris and I found ourselves in the lead, and we had to scramble for our navigation.
Right.
It was a good day, but it was fun because we had three forms of navigation. We had two iPhones and a watch. And what happened is Chris couldn't get his phone up because his business account wasn't paying up or something. We'd run up out of subscription. All of a sudden, we'd lost the avionics. No problems. I went to the Garmin watch. And I'm not too used to the watch. And unfortunately, rather than bring up the map, what how many steps I'd done for the day. So then we're down to the last iPhone, and one of our competitors, Randy Smythe, told me about putting the phone inside a condom to keep it waterproof. Sounds ridiculous, but it actually works. Amazing.
Except it was ribbed.
So we came down to the last bit of form of navigation, and I was trying to scroll the phone, and the condom broke. So that was the end of that. So we ended up with
memory. A few people in the shit that one.
Yeah, so the condom broke.
Just like old times. Just like old times.
Did Randy not tell you you double bag it, mate?
Next time.
Yeah, but couldn't see through the deep heat in between the different.
Oh dear. Yeah, right. Okay. Well,
So what was that about the phone?
so
we got in, but it was frantic. You had to be there. You had to be there.
yeah. Well, so just tell us, like, obviously, you know, you buy these second-hand hulls, you put the thing together, you have to sail upwind, you arrive just in time for the start. Does that mean that you haven't really had any chance to think about the routing, or are you just, what are you thinking at that stage? And how long was that first leg, or did you even know? Like, I guess you had been studying in the days because you had nothing else to do, I guess.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, I've done this race a lot of times before, so I had that experience. But the problem that Chris and I had, we had no boat experience. These F18s, we hadn't had a lot of time on them,
Right.
and it was more the worry about the setup of the boat. You know, how to rig it correctly, and it was going to be heavy upwind conditions. It was a boat type that we'd never sailed before, and every F18, they're a fantastic boat, but everyone's different. And it was more getting the right setup and whether we'd be competitive. So as it turned out, we just nailed it, and we had a quick boat from the start. So it was quite good.
I do remember when we were looking at, we were talking at it, they originally changed the route to go the other way, so you'd spend more time going downwind, but that obviously didn't work out.
No, in the old days, originally the Worrell was from the north to south. But since I've been doing it, it's always been the other way around. And traditionally, it's downwind. You have the Gulf Stream flows south to north, so that's fantastic because you're going north. And traditionally, the winds are southeast-east. But luck would have it, it was north for the first 2/3 of this race, and it was so wind against current. It was not a good look.
No, God, that would have been horrendous.
100 miles a day. Yeah,
100 miles a day. Did you?
100 miles a day. And
Did you
launching
feel-
off the beach, into the beach every day. Yeah.
Like, did you suffer overuse injuries or wear injuries or any of that sort of stuff, or what happened?
Yeah. It's and this race it's a killer on things like hands. You know, your hands get for experience. You tape your hands every day. Things like, crazy things like going to the bathroom. You know, going to the butt, you can't, like, people think you just pee in your wetsuit. You can't pee in a wetsuit because you get a rash within a couple of hours. Well, the end of the first leg, you're screwed and you don't make the end of the race. So, within 3 hours of the start of this race, we had really bad chafe, just on the necks from the life jackets and trapeze harness with the movement of the boat. We had serious chafe on our necks. The attrition rate, as you know, by leg, the second leg, only 4 boats finished. And a lot of that is by injury of, hands, backs, whatever. It's very taxing. And the secret is just trying to minimise, it's coming. I know it's going to be hard, and just trying to minimise the obvious things like blistering hands and backs and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit of management has to be done.
When we did speak, Rod, the last time we were talking about the carnage of the shore break and stuff.
Yeah.
Did that play a big role this time round?
Not so much, actually. The shore break, there were 7 masts broken. So there was, and I'd say half of those were in the shore break, but it wasn't as big as we've had in previous years. But the on-water conditions were much harder. So actually, the problem was when we're going upwind, these boats are doing 20, 11 and 13 knots upwind, and the waves being vertical because the wind against current. You jump into these boats and they want to compress, and that was boat breaking stuff. So a lot of damage to boats, including centerboards, masts from just compression going over these waves. The shore break this time was fairly manageable. There's nothing extreme, but we're still occasionally coming through 2 meter breakers.
It's extreme enough.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, in terms of your race, what do you think it was that sort of? How did you guys jump out, and like, what were you? Was it little things, or was it like, did you get a break, or what happened?
Well, it's really interesting. The guy that the favourite for the race for sure was the guy, Randy Smythe, and he's won 6 of these events. Interestingly, in all 6 of those events, we got second. We've come second to Randy 6 times. So this time we had equal boats. In the past, in this event, it's very hard to get an equal boat as a visitor. You come into it, they have a lot of time to prepare, etc. This time, from day dot, we knew we had a fast boat. Maybe not quite as quick, but close enough. So we had the boat speed. We definitely had the experience, and it came down to. It really came down to just hanging in there. I remember with Chris on the second leg when it's completely out of control, so difficult. Bashing up wind, it was relentless. And I said to him, as I said, Chris, this is tough, mate. I can tell you, this is really tough. It's as tough as it gets, but everybody is feeling it. And if you're feeling it, they're feeling it as much. So basically making him realise and me remembering that, okay, you're feeling it, but everyone else is too. So you just got to keep pushing. And we just pushed, just kept it going, didn't do anything crazy, kept it upright, and just toughed it out. And that was basically it was a very tough year.
I've sailed with Chris quite a lot, and I know he's the type of person that would take to it. I know that he would never give up.
He was amazing. He was absolutely brilliant. And we had a moment on the second leg, which was the defining leg, where we were only 4 boats came in, and we happened to be leading. 4 miles out, we capsized. With big seas. We were going upwind at night, probably about midnight, and we could see the checkpoint strobes. There's lights on the beach, and we went up. The wave would have been 2.5, 3 meters. We went up the wave. It just kept on going, and I was trying to get us through the breaker, and we just pulled the boat on top of us, which is very hard to do on F18. The problem is when you're upside down in these boats is that they want to take off. So firstly, on the side, they just blow sideways very fast. When you get upright, they want to take off. They've got a self-taking jib. They bear away, take off. And there was 3 boats that were involved in offshore rescues where people were separated from the boats. 2 in the league. When we righted the boat, before we righted the boat, I said to Chris, this boat's going to come up. It's going to take off. You've got to get on the boat. You've just got. This is in the dark. And the boat came up. It took off. I didn't know where Chris was, and I let the riding rope go. Went to the rudder to try and round the boat up. The next thing, Chris's hand was on the back of my harness, pulling me back up. So he won that leg for us. He won the race for us by saving us. So it's on the edge, and that night was that was the defining moment.
Wow. What was some of the longest legs you had?
Longest leg's about 130 miles, but the one leg which was kind of paints the pictures, we went around a place called Cape Fear, and we're downwind with spinnakers, and about 20, 25 knots of breeze, so we're absolutely hauling. And in that much breeze, the last thing you want to do is go offshore. You want to drive down up the coast. And that's part of the race. We're in for the win if we just hang in there with Randy Smythe. So we had to mirror what he was doing. Unfortunately, Randy took starboard jibe past the Cape, which is once you go past the Cape, it's about another 60 miles. He stayed on starboard jibe, which took us out to sea. And we had to follow. We had no choice but to follow. We ended up 35 miles offshore. At one stage, it was getting to the stage, it was very dangerous. It was very nosy on the bows. And I said to Chris, look, I think we should just do a jibe in. We're about 300 metres behind the leader. And I said, let's do a jibe in. They'll probably follow. We'll drag him with us. And if he doesn't, we'll jibe back after a few hundred metres and just see if there's been a gain out to sea. And so we jibed in. We jibed back. And unfortunately, he gained a few hundred metres. So then we're committed to going out to sea, which is, so you can imagine a 18-foot F18, 35 miles out to sea to a ley line. It's a big call. So and that leg we sailed about 120 miles distance sailed, and a long way from land. Yeah.
So all this racing, obviously, it's like you were saying, you're out there at midnight and stuff like that. It's not all done during daylight. High risk.
It is, and it is. but very interesting about this event. It's been running for many, many years, and there's in all the years it's been running, there hasn't been a fatality, which is incredible. And that's because there's a huge emphasis on safety and backup, and the Coast Guard over there are fully aware of the event. In fact, they follow and support it. We even had a Coast Guard swimmer competing this year. So it's kind of one of those events where everyone knows things go wrong. In that leg where we were 35 miles offshore with just one on the boat, he ended up flipping. And the first thing we do is we stop and stand by. So that's kind of an example. You know, you're racing for first place, but you're looking after your mates. And we stood by till he got going again. So, things go wrong, but we've got all the right gear. We've got EPIRBs and strobes and people watching out for us, which is fantastic.
And how about from a comms point of view, fully radioed up on VHFs or?
Yeah, we have VHF and phones.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're in touch, yeah.
Can they hear you?
In condoms.
Yeah, in condoms. Can they hear you through the
condoms? Why's my ear so smooth? So lubed up.
Just rub my face a bit.
My main concern is where you store the phone once it's in the condom. So one of the things you mentioned before, mate, is on the second leg, like 4 boats finished, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my understanding is it's kind of like the Tour de France. It's you add your time. It's just the time adds on.
Correct.
So for the boats that don't finish, what happens in that situation? Do they
get a 4-hour time penalty?
Okay. From the leader?
From the last.
Or
from the last boat.
Hey,
yeah.
From last boat. Okay. That makes sense. Because I was trying to work out how they could do it, because you don't want people to be dropped out.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No. So it works great. It was a good format this year. Every year it's changed. Now, in the original years that I did it was non-stop. The event went non-stop with 3 sailors rotating the boat.
Oh, geez.
So that was a totally different event again. And back in the early days, no GPS either. So things have moved on.
Did you go?
Sounds like a few weekends many years ago. But where'd the times end up, Rod? How much did you end up winning by?
3 hours.
I think in the end, around about 3 hours,
Correct.
we led by 3 hours. So we managed, after we got the lead, we changed our tactics totally. And we went to basically a very conservative mode just to ensure we covered the boat, any boats could get us, and in particularly Randy, he was the target.
Yeah.
But it sounds like 3 hours is a long way.
Yep.
Things go wrong so quickly. So, the first leg, we hit a sea turtle upwind, and we destroyed one of our carbon boards. We call them sea rocks. That's just like hitting a block of concrete.
And
doesn't hurt the turtle, but it destroyed the carbon board. Wow. And so that could have been an event finisher. We broke another board hitting a sandbank 10 miles offshore at one of the inlets. We just piled into a bank which shouldn't have been there, and that was another board. Could have ended a challenge, and it's on and on. You just don't know. You can lose hours very, very quickly.
So for the listeners, it's 13 legs. Team Australia, which Rod was steering, finished in 87 hours, 40 minutes, 44 seconds. Team Fast Forward Composites were second with 90 hours, 35 minutes, 38 seconds. Just going off memory here, Rod. And then the Rudies, Team Rudies, were 91, 45, 38. So,
No, I don't think it was 38, mate.
No, it was.
Was it?
Yeah. So, as I said, 13 legs. And, as you say, that's not that much, Like if something goes wrong, that's it, and you get a 4-hour penalty, boom, done, gone. So...
Yep.
Challenging.
What about in the case where you had to stand by with old mate 35 miles off the coast? Do you get a redress, or does that?
Yeah, you do. If you apply for it,
yeah.
You do. We never applied for it in that case, but if you apply for it, you'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're a listener, right, if somebody's listening to this and thinking, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind having a go at that. What is it? Is it easy to pull a thing together, or what's the critical thing? Should they reach out to you? You're a yacht broker. Everyone can find your number. You're easy to find. What's the story, mate?
It's an absolute must-do event, and if you do it, you'll want to do it again. So it is logistically a little bit difficult. I'm always open to helping teams put teams together. It takes a little bit of finance. You need to talk to someone who's done it before just to know what logistics you have to get set up. But it's not so difficult. It's about a 1 month program, really, being realistic, overseas. But it's a very doable event, and it can be a lot of fun.
Probably a question that is on the tip of everyone's tongue is, let's talk about a budget. I mean, obviously there's different budgets. What would be a relatively good budget to think about? Because I mean, it's not like you're buying, a super yacht or anything like that. You are doing it on F18, so there is accessibility there.
Yeah, well, you'd never do it on it with a bad boat. So you want to get a good boat, and I think your outlay for a boat is around about 50K mark.
Yep.
And then it's probably as much, maybe another 50 or 60 or 70K to put the logistics together. So it's not outrageously expensive.
Use sponsors and
exactly, yeah.
Jordan referred to you as a boat. You don't sell F18s by any chance, do you, Rod?
I don't. No, I don't.
You're making a bit of a career of this this kind of long, call it the long-winded catamaran racing.
Yeah.
Of course, we went from the Worrell 1000 into the Archipelago Raid as well, just straight away.
Yeah.
Complete different races, or where does that stand?
Before you answer, Rod, you answer, I just want to say I love the thought of this race. Like this race, I think the Worrell's cool. Yeah, I think the Worrell's cool, but this Archipelago Raid where you've got like 36,000 things to crash into,
exactly.
I just love this.
And that's in one leg.
So it's the Worrell was always a bucket list race, and the Archipelago Raid has always been on my bucket list. In fact, when I won this Worrell, it was one of the prizes was an entry into the Archipelago Raid. So it was a no-brainer when it was offered. So that's how it happened. But I had always wanted to do it. But it's not an easy. It's like me looking at how do you do a Worrell. You need to talk to people who've done it. It's a bit intimidating otherwise. So the Archipelago Raid, it's completely different. So in my particular case, I was kind of on my own. I didn't have anyone to refer to, talk to about the event. So I just went with open eyes just to give it a go. And the idea is give it a shot and then do it properly next time. So that's what we thought. But the event, the Worrell is a offshore blue water, rough water event, and it's all to do with stamina and stupidity and risk and all that sort of stuff. The Archipelago Raid is just incredible. The place is mind-blowingly beautiful. It's and it is. It's 40,000. There's 40,000 islands, not the rocks. 40,000 rocks. Let's face it. And the water, the biggest wave that I saw over there was about a foot, less than half a meter. There's no. It is not an endurance event. It's a navigational. It's a navigational exercise. You've got to have boat speed for sure. You've got to have a fast boat, but it's navigation. And you have what you have is you have 100 waypoints. You got 5 days racing, and you don't know where you're going to. Each day you don't know where you're going to go till the morning briefing, and then they give you like 10 waypoints you got to go to, and so you never know the course, which is brilliant. Before we get into the racing, every checkpoint where we stay, they have like cabins. So you're staying in cabins.
Mm-hmm.
Every island that you're at, every little cabin setup, you've got a sauna and a jetty and a spa, and you just basically sail off the water, jump in the sauna, have a beer, talk about the day. It's just sent in a beautiful location.
You forgot a few bits there, Rod. You jump off the water, rip your clothes off,
extract
the telephone, Get the birch branches out. Give each other a bit of a shellacking with those. Jump in the sauna.
It takes a bit of getting used to, I can tell you. All the Aussies are in one corner, but it takes a couple of legs before you loosen up and get into this. Exactly. Do the Swedish way.
There's Andreas just strutting around.
But it was just mind blowing. There's no sand. You pull the boats up on grass or rock.
Right.
Yeah.
You walk up with your dry suit, your wetsuit, straight into the sauna, straight into the beer, and it's such a great great event. Yeah, very nice. The beauty.
Well, you're not really stuck in nighttime there either because it's daylight for bloody 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's right, exactly. And you're up at about 6 a.m. You have a beautiful breakfast together, and then they bring out the course for the day, and you'll sit there and have your coffee and you're
going over the course. Yeah.
Going over the course, and it's and that's it. Your proper start lines. You have a proper start line out in the water.
Yep.
I think we had 35 boats or something, and really hot fleet, very hot fleet. But you're as good as you're. It doesn't matter how fast you are. If you're quick and you go the wrong way, you're going to hit a rock. And there's probably the attrition rate is pretty high on the course. That's for sure.
See, I was just going to say, did you at the briefing? Did you go? Let them know about your secret weapon with the condom wrap phone, or
I kept that one to myself. No,
kept that one.
I definitely kept that to myself. Yeah,
their response was condoms.
What?
Hey, the question I was going to ask, and it's just actually almost making me dry reach right now. They didn't make you eat that Swedish herring that they serve up. Oh, just even thinking about it, I can smell it now. Oh, Jesus.
But it says something very interesting. So we had one start.
Right.
This is an example. And so my crew and I got Rhum. I had a Swedish guy, Rhum Pixel, who crewed for me, and he's a navigator. And so we got the course in the morning. We sat down, worked out the course. He told me which way we should go. We all lined up on the start line. It was bottom end favoured, so I'm down the bottom, getting ready to start. And I'd say half the fleet, including all the top boats, they top end started, tacked over, and then went back and sailed back behind the line around an island behind us. So we're all set to go across the start line and go forward the way we were going to go. And all of a sudden, half the fleet actually turns around and goes almost backwards. And that's kind of what it's like. You don't know which way. There's so many different options to go. They went back. Right. They went backwards to go forwards to get lower landscape. We went the shortest distance, and there's can be 10 different routes you can take on a particular leg, and that's what's very interesting.
It is interesting.
Wow. Could you imagine that Irish commentator that did the lasers trying to commentate that? Well, they've just started and now they're going back that way.
They're going backwards.
So for the listeners, it's Rod says there's 36,000 bits of rock and land and islands and stuff you can hit, and it's 2 races a day. So you start in the morning, you go, you get your waypoints, and you get to your stop. You have a nice friendly lunch with your pickled herring or whatever it is, and then you go again.
Sauna.
Yeah, and then you have your little cabin camp out and your sauna. So and how many days does it go for?
It's this one was 5 days.
5 days. So 10 legs?
5 days. Yeah, I think it's one day was called off, but roughly mostly 2 legs a day. Some days there was only one, and the legs are between 25 and say the longest leg was 50 odd mile, but dead flat water,
right,
and fast. Yeah.
So in the Worrell, you snap 2 centerboards on sand.
Yeah.
Now you're surrounded by rock, and as we all know, when you're sailing through Sweden, normally lying on top of the rock is a naked Swedish woman. They tend to camp out there. How much damage did you do?
We were lucky. We didn't actually damage, but there's one other competitor, the Australian competitor, which is Brett Burville. You might know Brett.
Yep.
He's a top sailor, but he had a brand new boat. And it was very second-hand at the end. He had several big hits, and he was extremely quick, very competitive. but he had a couple of big hits onto rocks, and I think he did at least 2 boards and maybe something else as well. Yeah.
I think Brett's a bit secondhand himself as well. I think he did his Achilles walking up the beach.
Yeah. But he was very competitive in the event.
Yeah.
Speed-wise,
Yeah. So in terms of the conditions, Bicey's right. Like you've got daylight the whole time. What's the wind like? Is it sort of like a gradient breeze, different wind, or is it light wind, strong wind, or is it like a thermal breeze running through there, or how does it work? Is there much tide?
Mostly gradient, no tide, and the water's quite brackish. You can almost drink the water all through that archipelago. It's quite it's mostly gradient breeze, but because of the landscape, a lot of lulls. So you're going, very narrow passages. At times you're going through areas which are only 30, 40 meters wide, like really tight. It's beautiful. It's hard to race and look at the scenery, but you can't help yourself. It's that good.
Yeah, right. So what about, was the racing close? Like, are you calling water on lots of boats? Is it like, is there a lot of rules or yelling going on, or is it super friendly?
No, it's serious. It was actually very serious. And there's some obviously very competitive boats. There's a bit of a spread. So the top teams were a long way advanced in their boat setups, and they were. But there's no quarter given. It was more competitive that way than the Worrell, for sure.
Right.
I'm just actually having a look at the course, and everyone can probably have a bit of a look. Stockholm Archipelago Raid.com. And it shows pretty much, it's quite a good little shakedown of the whole thing, but shows the course as well and shows where everyone sailed. And you can definitely see it's tactical as well as navigational. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So in the Worrell, mate, there was all this history about it. Is it the same with the raid? It's the same sort of thing, isn't it? It wasn't a bet in a pub, though, I'm guessing, but... it's a very different feel. It's completely different. I think they're in different camps. But the Archipelago Raid, I would definitely do it again. I'd like to have a real good shot at it with Chris, and we'll get a good boat. Yeah.
And study a bit more time on the water just to have a look at some of the alternate courses. But yeah, it's a fun event, and definitely one you do more than once.
Yeah. So what's more important? Is it like this boat speed or the navigation? Like who's making
boat speed?
The boat speed.
And unfortunately, it comes down to the Archipelago Raid. You've got to be right up there on boat speed,
right?
Because you haven't. It's
no passing lanes almost, right? Either
there's no
unless you start and then go backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got to be fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing, though, like with the Worrell, you had a support crew, right? So you had spare bits. You had, if something went wrong, you could fix it. You could replace it. I'm guessing out in the middle of the archipelagos, you've got nothing. Is that right? Like, how do you? If something goes wrong, what do you do? Do you have tools floating around, or is it? How does that work?
Well, each competitor is allowed, I think, it's 8 kilos. Of this is for your your sleeping bag. It's not much toothbrush, but the tools are shared. The tools, everything goes on the rubber duckies. So there's a fleet of rubber duckies that follow the race, get to the campground, and they have the tools. So all the tools are pooled and shared, and including spare parts.
Yeah.
They're shared. So it's a good system.
The Australian team contributed,
but then they've actually got a rubber ducky towing a barge with dangleballs.
Yeah, there's a couple of big boats as well. They have all the gear, which I believe. Yeah.
I was going to say the Australian team's contribution was one walkabout spanner, one adjustable spanner and 7.9 kilograms of beer. So I guess that sort of makes it difficult. So then, but you don't have any support crew. So say you did something during the morning race, you've got to do all the repairs yourself. It's just away you go, sort of thing.
You do, but there wasn't. I mean, everyone would chip in. So once again, if there was usually boats running around breaking centreboards, there's 20 guys to help you glass the bat together. So it wasn't a problem.
Right. So what was the worst damage you saw?
Brett Burville. So Brett,
Physical.
I just want to rewind a second. You just said that 20 guys there willing to help you. So is that before or after the sauna? Or standing around in the nude? Excellent boat. Yeah. Sorry, Brett Burville damaged his boat a lot.
Yeah, he had a bad run because the Aussies, we didn't have any local knowledge, so and he was fast, so he hit things hard because it's fast.
Pretty hard.
Golden rule: don't go fast. So he hit hard a couple of times, and I
guess you got to try and time your run to finish line, right? Just make sure you stay behind everyone right into the last little bit.
Yeah, so he was unlucky, and usually, see, if you're in front in the leading pack and you hit a rock, the guys behind say, well, we won't go there.
Yeah,
you'll miss that same rock. So you're the rabbit in front.
Yeah,
you're the guinea pig. Yeah,
that's what I mean. You sort of sit back and wait, and then take time to charge.
Yeah. I've got to say, this is a race calling out to Baccarati. I tell you, you don't need to go too. You don't want to go too fast. We've got that covered. Able to do a bit of repairs.
Can drink beer.
Definite first night, second night, third night fever.
We'll get that out of the way. Then the fourth night.
So when we talk F18s, there's a lot of different manufacturers in the F18s. Can we talk about that? The different boats. Was that noticeable, or is that they're all pretty equal?
I think that's the best thing about the F18 rule. There's actually a number of competitive boats, and if you ask me which is the fastest, I couldn't tell you. So there's all the top manufacturers. If they're set up right with the right sailors, they're competitive, and that's the way it is. That's how it should be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you're, let's go back to that same question I did for the Worrell. If you were like us sitting here going, this sounds so cool. I'm assuming you blokes are thinking the same I am. How do you go about it? Like, what's the process for this one, the Archipelago Raid?
It's open, so you could, as long as you get your entry, they have a maximum list. I think it's 35 boats. So there is a max. There is a you do have to basically qualify for the event, but it's. I don't think it'd be too difficult to get on that list.
Got to qualify, right? Okay.
And then, but generally, that's got us stuffed. But generally, you know where the race area is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So when they put the whiteboard up in the morning and waypoint 34, 69, 74, then you work it out. But you generally know the area, the main area.
You do, but you do. And obviously the locals
just don't know where to go. Yeah,
exactly. It's so confusing. If you're sailing up to a bunch of islands, it is very confusing. And you really are resigned to following in many cases because it's just you rely on the locals to lead the way.
Right.
Mate, this is the Variety Club Bash on the water.
Yes.
So,
like in the morning, you get your run sheet of where you have to go.
Yeah.
You kind of got a bit of an idea where you're meant to be ending up. But on the way, you just go around all these different areas. Probably a bit less booze involved, I'm thinking. But, no. But the Swedes, they know how to put on a good show. And it's been going for a long time, right, the Archipelago Raid?
Yeah, no, it's excellent. They do. It's tremendous. So well organised that it was perfect from front to back.
So
excellent.
Opens up the question. So you did the Worrell, you've done this Archipelago Raid. Is there another event, or is there any other events that are in the bucket list here, mate?
There's unfortunately there's not enough of this stuff. There used to be a lot of these type of events on, but these days not. These are the only two real good ones. Yeah. Could we do one in Australia? Could we create one in Australia? Like not far from where you are, mate. Like you could do through that Central Coast. You could actually do quite an interesting run through there. Like you'd maybe get people crashing into oyster farms, right up deep in the Central Coast, or you could do the connection through. You go from Sydney Harbour, you could do out to sea and end up at Port Stephens and then come back. Like you could actually do one, couldn't you? Yeah, you could. We had one, did that Gold Coast to Cairns. We did that one a couple of years. It was tremendous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But there is rumour that I've heard people making noises recently of a local one, similar to what you're saying, actually. Something,
Right.
200 or 300 miles.
Surely you'd be up in the Whitsundays or Far North Queensland.
Great, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Adelaide, Port Lincoln Yacht Race, Teagle Classic.
Boston Bay around the tuna farms.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mate, you love an adventure, Rod. What's the next big adventure? Or what have you done since, actually?
We went back to our roots and did the Hobie Worlds recently, so that was a good thing in Spain. So that's a family event, family class. Yeah. So we're still playing around with those boats, and we love them. That said, we've got a big Lagoon 450 I'm playing with.
Hold there. It's a family affair. So is that you and your son?
It's literally a family. Yeah, it's
advantage.
No, Jason obviously spent many years in the Hobies as well, and it didn't hurt him. So
yeah,
Sorry. No, it's a great class. Man.
As you were.
Yeah,
Lagoon 450, I believe, Rod.
Yeah, so the Lagoon 450 is just an adventure in the boat. So we bought a boat in Tonga, in the middle of nowhere, and bought this boat and bringing that home to play with. So that's an adventure in itself.
Is that your toy?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Good work.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
and have you got it home yet, or
no? It's in Newcastle. At the moment, it's in New Caledonia.
Okay,
just getting a few things sorted out. Yeah.
The Barcarati delivery crew's ready to go here, right?
Yeah, I bet. No, it's
mate. They could hear us from Newcastle right now. We're on our way. Oh,
yeah. So nothing spectacular at the moment, but always looking for ideas. So,
and the Worrell and Archipelago Raid, is that a yearly thing? So you're back next year, or is it?
I think so. It'll be interesting. So if the Archipelago Raid is on, we're thinking, Chris and I are thinking about doing it. And like I said, we'll do it properly second time.
Yeah.
And the Worrell, when it's on, I think with the Worrells, I've decided to call it a day.
Yeah, I was going to say
but I will take another team. I'm looking forward to helping put a team together and take it across. So that's my plan for the next one.
Okay.
Go.
Have you put it to your son, Jace? Have I got a plan? Just ditch that bloody SailGP shit. I got the ultimate for you.
This one, let's get serious, dismit real. Yeah. But yeah, no. So I'd love to put a team together, and that's what I'm planning. Yeah.
All right.
So anyone thinking about doing this event, call me for sure, and we can maybe have a chat about it.
Oh well, let's give you a plug because as we said, you're a yacht broker. So what's it? What's your company you're working for? It's
DBY Yachts.
DBY
boats.
Yeah. So
we're up on Pittwater.
Yep. The beautiful Pittwater.
That's right.
What we have to do, of course, is we've alluded to it. We've spoken about Jason SailGP. Let's talk about Dubai. Let's bring that in because I mean, how interested were you in that weekend of sailing?
It was mind blowing. It was. I actually couldn't watch it live. And I got a call. I called in home the next morning just after it, and they slowly broke the news to me, and they're trying to describe what had happened. And it was just incredible. And then I've obviously seen it since. So just the most incredible comeback. It just shows you that things. If it's your day, it's your day. That's it.
It seems to be their day quite a lot.
Yeah. They came good. Like they seem to have. I was talking to Tommy about it on the Friday. They were definitely getting really bad starts in the practice race, and they were still working right through the field and coming up to the front. And then the last practice race, I think they were first or second in the start, and just annihilated the field. So they had really good. It looked like me they had really good speed, and I noticed that their bow was slightly up compared to everyone else, and. So I had a chat to Tommy about that, and he said, no, he didn't even realise. He said, but I'm not the first person that said the same thing to him. And he was just saying that what they were working as a team was that they were just trying to get clear air. They were sailing because it was such flat water, they were sailing slightly higher groove, lake sailing basically, sailing in a higher groove, trying to step up off people, and they were gaining that way. You know, being able to just hold that higher groove is what they were doing. But then come Saturday, you know, it was just too light a wind. No one was on the foils. The Poms just worked out, we'll just sail the shortest possible distance and that'll win. They never even tried to get on the foils, and everyone else did. But then Sunday, it was just unbelievable. They still, you know, it's so hard to get a good start, but then, you know, they just kept coming and coming, and they looked so good. Like, I mean, the French team looked good. The British team, if you were scoring an event on normal sailing rules, the Poms won the gold, right? They sailed brilliantly, and I tell you what, they were devastated at after that final, that last jibe. You know, like as I was watching it, I just went, as soon as the Poms didn't jibe, when the Aussies, as soon as they rolled into their jibe and they didn't jibe, I said, something's gone wrong on the Pommy boat. There's got to be something has gone wrong, because they would jibe immediately. You know, there's no question you would jibe as a tactician. And that was what happened there. They couldn't, their foil wouldn't go down. And so they didn't get that jibe, but they were devastated. You know, you could see it written all over. But it was hilarious, because in the Impact Lounge, there's a lot of Poms on staff for the SailGP, so they were all screaming and yelling and getting carried away. And then right at the end, there's just one lone Aussie screaming the top of his lungs, completely unbiased, but you know, it was
still got a Union Jack tattoo, but just got a few stars on yours compared to the Pom.
That's right. But it was amazing, and they looked so ominous. You know, the French looked unbeatable for a while there, and then in that final, they looked like they were just going to sail away, and then, you know, just a little split off and away they went. There was some good, smart, tactical sailing going on. Boat was being sailed fast, and they put pressure on and, you know, got the win. They were very happy, the Australian crew. Very happy is the best way to describe it.
I think it was an incredible race for sailing, wasn't it? I mean, everybody enjoyed. You could not enjoy that race, and I think it was brilliant for the sport.
Well,
do you go and get to go to all the events, Rod? Or
we go to a few. We enjoy going. Yeah, we do. We went to Centra, but we go to a few. Yeah, when we get the chance. But we try to give Jason space.
Give Jason Slingers a few tips.
No, I got nothing, mate. I got nothing.
Your little clan is sort of well entrenched into that whole team. So you know, Jace, Lisa's the cousin, you know, and now Lucy's in there. I think she sails with Lisa's brother or something. So. It's like cancer. You guys just growing and taking over more and more. What was I going to say? Oh, I was standing. I think I've already told you this, Rod, but I was standing next to a guy that ran a TV network in the region, right? He's in charge of this, and he said, he was standing there. He's telling me I was just wandered down to see what this is all about on the Sunday. He didn't come on the Saturday. He came on the Sunday. And he's just standing there with his jaw hanging down. He's just going, is this what sailing's like? And it was just, it was insane. Yeah. He was just blown away.
It's pretty standard stuff.
Standard day.
Yeah. Most clubs on a weekend.
Yeah. Standard Saturday afternoon at the Palace.
Dear. No, anyway, well, but yeah, congratulations. I can say the boys were happy. They looked bloody ridiculous in their stupid moustaches, so I'll tell you that.
What are you trying to say, mate? For the listener out there, trying to run a bit of Movember myself.
Yeah. Bit of top lip weight.
Yeah.
So, okay, just to top and tail, I think we're sort of near the end of our time. But so what's next for you, mate? Is it going cruising or and managing a Worrell team, and that's it? Or you got Hobies coming up, doing Hobie Nationals, going to Jarvis Bay? What's the story?
Yeah, we'll do Jarvis Bay Nationals. But I was talking to a friend yesterday. I said I've got nothing on for next year, and it's fantastic.
Oh wow!
I've got nothing planned. It's a free year, and see what comes our way. So it'll be good for a change.
Do the cruising division up at Hamo, mate.
Could be.
Yeah, no, you'd enjoy it. Cool. Anything else, boys?
All good.
Mate.
Love the stories.
Love the stories.
Yep, awesome. Keep the adventures going, Rod.
All right, no worries,
Love
guys.
it.
Thanks heaps.
Yeah.
Cheers.
See you
mate.
later. Bye-bye.
A lot of passion. He loves his sailing, that boy, and loves catamaran sailing, and obviously,
Mate, I could see you've got a bit of a froth on here. You want to do the archipelago raid yourself, don't you?
I do. The qualification thing scares me because never sailed I mean, let's be honest, I can't even tell you the last time I sailed.
We could bullshit our way through that easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
We know how to prepare for these regattas. Just it's all about condoms, isn't it?
Good. Yeah. Oh, dear listeners, I tell you, some of the jokes that go on behind the recording when we don't record, these two are giggling so much, they're making each other laugh. So,
Yeah. What navigation systems we use? Oh, just a phone in a condom.
Anyway, we'll move on. But yes,
Is that the rib version?
Stop it. Right, focus. Right.
Well lubed here.
Other club events.
Silky smooth.
Club events. Come on.
Just like
move on.
I do want to. What I wanted to bring up is something that I feel like I have a lot of respect for. Is that US Sailing is going to have a sailing leadership forum at St. Pete's Beach in Florida in the USA, 2nd to 4th of February. So sailingleadership.org. I'm interested. I think good on them, like they're trying to work out how to do sailing better. So good on the US for that. So the Sailing Leadership Forum, it looks pretty full ball, excuse me, hiccup. But yes, hundreds of attendees, 600 attendees, 100 presenters, breakout sessions, demo boats, exhibitors, keynote speakers, award ceremonies, endless networking. We know about this because we got invited to attend.
Did we?
We did to actually host some of the events.
You are right, we did.
Yep. Can't quite make it work, unfortunately, for those who are thinking you beauty or wanting to come and throw money at us. But yeah.
Obviously, it was a tip-off. They clearly have not listened.
Anyway, it's an event coming up, and if you're interested in it, just jump on onto that website and sort of follow up. So sailingleadership.org is what you're looking for. I just thought we'd publicise that one because that seems like a good idea, particularly for those based in the US. Cool.
Here.
Jack Lloyd, Listener of the Week.
Good luck to him.
Yeah, good luck to him indeed. Jack Lloyd, Listener of the Week. This could be the greatest week of the winner is undoubted in my mind.
No, absolutely.
Undoubted in my mind. But we do have to bring up Scotty Patton launched a topic in a tough week. Scott wrote to us and suggested that this is harsh. He can't see Jimmy driving at the next America's Cup. SailGP is such a good form line now, so it's representing where people are and how they're going. Honestly, apart from one or two good results, he is floundering. So Jimmy Spittle is talking about what do we think about that statement? Do you want me to give you an opinion so you can not step on any landmines here?
No. Give your opinion,
yep,
and I'll give my weighted opinion.
Okay. Very harsh on Jimmy because it's a team thing. Nath is one of the top skippers, and he's jumping in on the Swiss boat. The SailGP boats are so much about teamwork. You can't just hold one person responsible for the results, but you can completely hold the whole team responsible for results. So if there's one element missing, you're stuffed, basically. So it may not be Jim. There's no way I would just attribute it to him, and I'm certainly not criticising the US team at all. It's just that the level and standard is so high, and everyone's just working so hard.
That's where I was going to go.
Yep,
that's
okay.
where I was going to go.
Yeah, go on.
So,
continue.
I was just going to go that if you look at times gone by, I mean, there was a very much of a new sort of element of sailing coming to the fore, where Jimmy was well and truly in the forefront of that, and that was no doubt fantastic for him and for his career. The sport now is such that it is bringing these people into this format, and they're all doing it a lot. And so now it comes down to, team sport, absolutely, team things, but it is absolutely down to, that there's going to be days where you just nail it, and there's going to be hard days, and it's hard when there's 10, hard when there's 12 and 16 teams that they're trying to get. With world-class sailors. That's what we have to look at here now. It's not just, 2 teams. It's world-class teams.
And when you look at the boats, you see the difference in stability and, so your flight control is so critical. But then, when you start watching the wings and see how much they're changing shape all the time, the amount of how tight everyone needs to be on these boats. So I with utmost respect, Scott, I don't think you can single out one person on a team, is what I'd say.
Oh, no, I disagree. Jimmy's off.
Jimmy's off.
Fuck, get rid of him. Sack him. In Jimmy's words himself, one day you're the rooster, next day you're the feather duster.
Well,
search that.
The good part, the good part is here. Good part is here, boy. So you sailed with him, so you've got the right to actually say all that. We were just being polite.
No. Yeah, I know. Fuck yeah, quit the politeness, dude.
Sorry,
my
fault.
Just joking. Mate, super competitive. It literally a comment like that is
putting a fire.
Something like where F1 stands, right?
Yeah,
when you're singling out particular people and different things and what have you. It's just bloody hard, is what I'd say.
Well, as I said,
bloody hard.
I think that the world's best are now all focused in on this little echelon of sailing, and that's what it is. It's the world's best.
Yep,
very cool.
It certainly is. That's good.
But
good.
The winner has to be.
Yes.
Mate.
This email that we got. So this is as cool as it gets. So Simon Costa, for those of you who don't know, he's racing Bank de Leman in the Class 40 in the Route de Rhum right now. And he sent us an email mid-race as he's going past the Accords in his Class 40. And he just wanted to tell us that he has limited internet access, so he made a real effort to reach out to us because he just wanted to say that he loves listening to Baccarati, and he's in the middle of the race. He's been going upwind for a bit. They've been smashing through these 3 fronts. He's hoping to escape, and he might be past the last one. No one has been dumb enough to attack back for that one. General moisture of all the clothing on board is quite high. Solar panels have been stacked from the beginning, but there's no sun. So energy-wise, it'd be good to find some downwind at some point, which would mean good weather, and the panels they'd be dead weight at the moment. I can't keep all the stuff running, but he still continues to listen to the podcast to keep him going. He has managed to stay out of the way of the Sunfish Union or the closely affiliated Whale Union, which is always a worry close to the Azores. He doesn't have any Baccarati lager on board, so he's had to resort to beef jerky Swiss chocolate.
Well, he's Swiss. He's Swiss, so he's got plenty of that.
Yep. So there's more chocolate on board than freeze-dried, he reckons. It's big. He's going to run through that pretty quick because it's getting warmer and that stuff will melt. So he hasn't broken the boat. Engine mount and cracks on the bulkhead 6, not too much to worry about. We've sectioned this one completely before, still managed to win the race. Hard to ignore the squeaking noise of the sandwich foam rubbing against each other. So all set for part 2 and the downwind section.
It's going pretty well then.
Other than that big hole in the side.
Word has it, if he does win, he's going to win a cow.
Right.
Beautiful.
Well, he's not far
Bit
off.
of a Swiss tradition.
Yeah. Anyway, so really? Simon Costa reaching out mid-race, and I love that. I reckon that's pretty cool. So, listener of the week, Jack Lloyd, listener of the week, 100%.
Definitely listener of the week. Yeah. I've actually already sent the merch pack.
Oh,
via the Azores.
Oh, God. It's going to be spinning around the Azores high for a while, isn't it?
Well. This makes a good segue, so... Ole, ole, ole,
ole. Feeling hot, hot, hot. It's hot time with Bice. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
That was the Velcro.
I'm assuming we're going to talk some route to Rhum. I don't want to talk, but what's...
Yeah, we will talk route to Rhum. But firstly, when we had, like we said, what is the ultimate boat you could own? Yes. And, this is kind of throughout the years, we've said, what's the ultimate boat that we...
It was episode 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. And it's here. It's here, Jordan.
You got it.
What is it?
Ultimate boat.
What is it?
It's quite outlandish, let's say that.
Right.
But it's basically a big floating turtle.
Oh. Not inspired so
far. The Italian designers, they've drawn this thing up, and it's basically a floating city in the shape of a turtle. Only $6.8 billion worth.
No,
quid, to build.
Mm-hmm.
But I reckon
that makes it a little bit
harder. This is your next one, mate. And I know you love people as well, Jordan. So this is, I'm going to call it Jordan City. 60,000 people on board, they reckon.
60,000 people on board the turtle.
Yeah, the turtle.
No.
Mate, this is you all over. It looks, it's basically like a big stadium.
Right.
Floating stadium, essentially. Yeah. Hotels, resorts, swimming pools, all sorts of stuff. So just Google it, the floating turtle. You'll love it.
Turtle. Right.
You'll love it,
is it spelled TURD?
Turtle.
Turtle.
Yeah, so a fair chance that will never, ever happen.
Right.
Rightio, before we get to route to Rhum, just want to say, how good did the Ineos, their 40, their, what do you call them? The
AC40.
They call it the T6.
Oh, T6.
No, their own design.
Yes, their own version of it, yep.
Ooh. Looks pretty sexy. They launched it this week in Palma, Mallorca. Took it out for some testing, some fall testing. And it looks full stealth. And then I had a look at a few of the close-ups on it, and there's obviously quite a bit of work done by the Mercedes guys here with all the tech and all that sort of stuff. And where it has it, it's basically real-time tech is getting sent to the Mercedes AMG engineers in the UK.
Yep.
Whilst they're testing.
Real time.
So where's this going to stop, boys? This is unbelievable. It's pretty cool.
Well,
very cool.
So in SailGP, there's 40,000 data points coming off those boats, right? So they have a billion elements of data each race, basically. Like they're pulling, and that's real
a big
time.
Spreadsheet.
That's
real time. Do you think
time.
Smartsheet would be able to deal with that?
Yeah, that's what I said. How do you go through that? So that's real time.
Just having to log it all in would be hard work.
I know.
Get pretty sore.
I know.
Especially my type.
Well, you just type it into Excel. Yeah, that's right.
But so a few familiar names on board. We had Joel Scott, who was kind of leading the show on the day.
Yep.
Without Ben being there, Parko, of course, was there. Bled and Mon, Ben Cornish. So yeah, they're starting to ramp up. They've moved down to Palma, so they're getting ready to go.
What a pity for them.
Yeah, sucks to be them. That's
and
right.
Before we get to route to Rhum, the other one, and we mentioned it a bit last week, that Phil Robson got called up a little bit for swearing, for using offensive language on the course, which I don't know if you heard. Did you hear it at all, Jordan?
No, I think
exactly what was said.
Yeah, I
but
remember.
Let's not. All I want to say here, let's not confuse a bit of bad language with the banter.
Yeah.
Because they've still got to keep the banter alive.
Yeah, let's not draw the line on this.
Exactly.
Let's just make sure.
Let's keep an open mind, guys. Come on, we've got to make sure that the banter makes its way back into
maybe we should write a banter book that sort of adds on as an appendix to the rule book. The do's and don'ts of banter.
The do's and don'ts of banter. I like it.
Rule 69. It's no, okay. That's good. That's good. I think, in all honesty, most of the teams, they seem to be pretty bloody friendly. All the SailGP teams, they're definitely having a lot of fun. So Yeah, I think they're pretty good.
I'm all for it.
Come on.
Right, route to Rhum.
Route to Rhum.
Here we are, boys.
We are.
Here we go.
Mate,
How good is it?
bit of a, let's say, what is it now? 3 IMOCas down.
Mm.
One explosion, boat gone completely. And I believe that the exact quote was, "It was not my time to die today," from the skipper. His boat. I do not know what happened here, what blew up. Instantly think about something like the something to do with gas, right?
Yeah.
But there's a limit to how much is there, like
batteries,
or batteries, or is it some sort of energy systems?
Apparently, had 2 goes at it.
What, 2 blow-ups?
Yeah, there was one before, and that got managed. So there must have been something going on somewhere.
And then, of course, our mate who we mentioned last week got hit by the ship, rigged down. Then we Bureau Valley rigged down. So why I bring that up is that's going to chuck a massive curveball into the IMOCA world, in the world of spare rigs. Because my understanding, there is not any spare rigs at the moment.
Because that's
quite a way. It's a one design element from Lorimer.
Yep.
It's one of the only one design elements with the boats, apart from keel and keel system and stuff.
Yep.
So there's going to be quite a wait, I believe.
Yep. And Lorimer,
there's one spare rig kicking around, I believe.
Right.
Which is owned by 11th Hour. That will be staying on the shelf.
Yes.
For the ocean race.
Yeah, they won't be sharing that out. And you know,
no.
Our friends at Lorimer love them, but they're not responsive when it comes to stuff like that. So,
Yeah. So, but a quick little run through the old teams. Our good mate Charles Cordelier sets a record on possibly the most well performed this boat's ever gone. It's always had the potential.
Yeah.
And now Charlie's got it and put the hammer down and off he went. 6 days. What was it? 6 days. 20 hours. Or
from memory, 6 days, 19 hours, 47 minutes,
47 minutes,
seconds.
25 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Francois Gabard is 4 hours behind him.
Yep.
And then Tomacaville and Sadobo. He was a further like 7 hours behind that. And then how's this? Francis Joyon.
Yes.
Odd Export.
Yes.
Mate.
How's he did that?
Done 6 or 7 of the route runs.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then
very good.
It's all still to play for in the rest of the classes as we record. I think the Ocean 50.
As we are recording currently, linked out in the IMOCA class is only 5 miles ahead of Charlie Darlin on Apivia. And
they got
Worrell a further 40 miles back.
Yep.
And then
100 miles to go.
A good mate of the show, Kevin Escoffier, and further 70 miles back from the leaders. So, yeah, pretty good racing. One I really want to flag here, who is, I think, sailing the most outstanding in the whole thing, is Justine Matreau, running in 7th position.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They're good sailors, the Matreau ladies. They are, aren't they? They do well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, despite a couple of 4 retirees, the rest of the fleet is still having a crack.
One of the things
getting there.
I've been really interested in is how close the battles have been. So obviously in the old team, it was a really tight battle. In the Ocean 50s, as we look right now, like there's 16, 17 miles to go as we're recording. And there's like a mile between the front two. So they're having a massive battle. In the IMOCAs, there's a massive battle. I think the only one that's got not even there. I was going to say Jan Rhum in the class 40s. He was out a bit.
He's
smoking away.
But smoking 100 mile ahead.
Yeah.
So he's having an absolute blinder.
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure. And our mate who we just spoke about, Simon, is running fourth.
Yeah, that's right.
Only 150 miles behind the leader. So
yeah,
yeah,
he's right there. So I tell you though, like when you go through and you go through the tracker, they're really all onto, they're making some tough decisions, but they're just, they skirt the edges of these lulls, and they've got it worked out. When you look at lay the weather over the top, it is quite incredible to watch.
Yeah, no, and
massive fleet.
Oh, mate,
looking at it now.
Absolutely.
Is it the
Sunfish didn't quite get there just in time.
No, I think we sent them up a bit late.
And there's a bunch of people.
All right, but the media award has to go to Pip Hare.
Oh yeah, she's doing great, huh?
And she's doing some fantastic video, like really in-depth stuff. And I mean, her enthusiasm is infatuating in the sense of the way she puts herself across, but then going into full detail about what is happening on board. I watched one video the other day when she, I think the eye of the safety ram had unwound on the kill system, and she not fully got into it and really explained it in really easy to understand terms, which was handy because it was a little late in the afternoon. And you know what? Look.
And might we add, she's sitting in 12th position. I mean, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, no, that was really good. And we're starting to see a whole lot more media coming off these boats, which is pretty cool. Kevin's having a crack at it. But then the big thing, so they're going to finish, in the next 24 hours or so?
Yep.
And then turn around.
Come back.
Some of them get it back to get it back to Spain.
Yeah.
For the start of the ocean race.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing plenty of video of people having a bit of relaxed time off Guadeloupe, ready to go, ready to return boats. So absolutely, they're going to be flying back and boats straight back. Because should we talk about the ocean race? Because I do want to bring it up as a discussion topic. Can we talk about it?
Well, we can talk about it. What will be interesting to know? Well, we know the IMOCAs that are going to be on the start line.
Yeah.
Question will be obviously. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say. So start date is 15th of January, right? In Alicante, right? So where are we now? What is the date? 20th of November. So
20th. Yep.
Yeah, just over 2 months. So 56 days.
7 weeks. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, the boat's gone. What were you going to say, boys?
Oh, no. So IMOCA teams, yep, quite a healthy fleet, 5 or 6, I believe.
5, yeah.
What would be interesting to see what's going to happen in Volvo.
65 World.
Idiot. Ocean 65 World. There's so probably only going to see 2 boats on the start line.
No, you'll see more boats on the start line, but they'll only be able to sail the Europe legs because they haven't put new mast sections on. So our understanding is that 2 boats are going to go around the world at this stage. That's the indication that 2 teams have done the refit. Interestingly enough, Bice, I don't think any of them have put in a new keel fin, which I think was due. Do you know about that?
Well, put it this way: if I had a boat, I'd be putting a new rig in.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be putting a new keel fin on.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be quite a few replacements that you'd be doing.
Yep.
Obviously. But I hear not much of that, if any, has been done.
I thought the rumour I've heard is that 2 boats have done the refurb with the new rigs, but that rumour may be changed because one may not have been completed yet, from what I understand, and may not be being completed. So, but basically, you will see a lot of boats. If you go to the website, you'll see a lot of boats there, but they're only going to be doing the European legs, and they'll be dropping out. They will not be going too far. They won't be going around the Southern Ocean. It's the best way to say it. So, because the race, of course, from Alicante to Cabo Verde to Cape Town, then all the way across the bottom and then to Itajaí, up to Newport, and then across and doing all those European legs where they finish in Genoa. interesting thing finishing it, obviously long history for Johan and his family.
Johan, yes. His, what was it? His grandfather.
Or great uncle, I think it was.
Yeah. Developed what is now known as the Genoa jib.
There you go.
Overlapping jib, the Genoa, and first sailed it in Genoa, and hence the name. That's where, and that's anyway. Moving on, but so there's a little bit of interest coming in with the ocean race. They're advertising for workers. If you want a job, they've got go to their website. They're actually looking for a few staff in a few key areas. But we'll see how it plays out, that one. Cool. I just wanted to get that on the record. What's next on your list there, Mr. Bice?
That's actually, there's one thing, and what was it called? If you go to the Flotilla website, there is this, and you'll like this one. Basically, it's an aeroplane, floating plane, on foils. So it gets a certain pace up, pops up onto its foils, and then pops up out of the water. Just flies above the water. So it's possibly the coolest toy you can get right now.
Yep.
Right now.
Okay.
So check it out, flotilla.com.
Wing-in, I think they're called...
one of their lead videos.
I think they're called wing-in ground effect plane or something. That is what they are. They've been around. That idea's been around for a long time, and I've often thought about home building one because, you could just... they're just brilliant. I love the idea.
Take it down to the club.
Yeah. But just like you fly.
I just see a big flashing sign: Darwin Awards, Darwin Awards, Darwin Awards.
No, it's pretty cool. Check it out on their the top video.
Yeah, they're called WIG planes, WIG planes. That's what they're called. That's it off the top of my head. Okay, so BP, I have to ask, mate. You went Etchell sailing, right? So you've got a Mold 11 boat, right? So you've been made into the piano accordion. What's the boat like? Is there any difference? Is it noticed? No difference.
No.
It's a bit slower.
Oh, yeah, it's 100 mil. Apparently it's 100 mil slower. Don't know. Got beaten by the same people, beat the same people.
Right.
No difference. No difference.
All right. Are you worried about it splitting?
No, it's a beautiful job. Well done, Innovation Composites. Don't even see it. Looks great.
Okay. No. Right.
No, you literally can't even, you can't even, I thought we were going to see a banana boat, the deck, but the movements are incredibly minimal. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
All right.
So sounds as though for Adelaide Nationals, beginning 7th of January, we're going to get quite the fleet. Is it 6 or 7 have done the mods already?
I think they're coming up. Well, they will have by then. I know that one Mark Roberts is obviously going to be there, being South Australian. We're making the journey down. John Bertrand will be going. So there's 3. Mark Thornborough, that's 4. So there is quite a few coming down. I mean, Mark Thornborough sails with Malcolm Page, so that's a big name. We've got John Bertrand, obviously, and Mark Roberts has got Richie Allenson on board. So it's going to be a pretty good fleet.
Good. Rightio, we'll sort of kneecap those bastards before they arrive. Make sure we get
Cool.
Oh, but it did remind me, sorry, fellas, I finally got around to watching the Netflix Untold Story about Australia too, about winning the cup. Oh, mate. So back in the day, there was a video called Aussie Assault, which I watched 749,000 times. But this
tops it off,
mate. This is a great bit of it's a documentary basically. And the passion that John speaks about, John Bertram, that is very similar to when we spoke to him on the show about that whole mental toughness and the way he approached it and how he really got in there, got thinking like an American on to how to beat them in their own game, of which he and his team did. Sensational. Got to watch it. Got to watch it.
So the only way I can watch Netflix is when I go to my dentist, and they have it up on the roof. They've got the TV on the roof, and I actually went this week, and I'm going. They're going. What do you want to watch?
Untold Story.
They put some penguin show on. I'm going no. So I haven't seen it yet.
Not the penguins of Madagascar.
No, the ones in Cape Town. You know the ones in Cape Town, the real ones. Yeah. Anyway. Moving on. Is anything else on Hot Topics?
No.
Okay.
All good.
Okay. We have to mention, obviously, the loss. We had the passing this week, I guess, of Carl Schmidt.
Very popular face around the club over the last 20 or so years.
He's a big head too, like he's from the same clan as the J Dog. Only 49, lives in Queensland and passed away on the 8th of November. Very well known, sort of went the Olympic path, tried to go the Olympic path, didn't quite get there, but very talented, and then did the OK Dinghy Worlds many times. And was well known in there. Did the fins, which is what he tried for the Olympics in 96 and 2000. And then I think most of the rest of his sailing, he's done a lot of sailing with Lou Abrams on the.
That's where he cut his teeth for the ocean racing. That's when I met him quite a lot, obviously. So he was always there, a stalwart of the post race shenanigans.
Yeah. So great bloke. Very well known, like the big fella, well known around the traps, and so he's lost. He he's survived by a wife, so Vanessa, and his kids, Will and Maddie, his mum, Di, and his sisters, Francine and Danielle. So sad times for a lot of people in the sailing world in Australia. So, his funeral was just last Thursday. So, So he lives in and around where I do. He's a big head. He's a big fella. He'll be missed. It's a big loss. So double sized coffin for the fella, just to make sure And he's quite fit. Like he's just properly built human being, I guess. So we just
properly built human, normal size, human.
Yeah. So yeah, 8 bells.
No, sad to hear.
Nearly sad. But much better news is that we nearly lost the sailor. My theory about the Golden Globe being just a ploy to dump old boats and get some insurance back is just it's proved right again. I'm yet to be proved wrong on this one, but we nearly lost a sailor. One of the competitors ending up in the ocean for 24 hours. So. Tapio Latinen.
Yeah.
I think he was placed second.
Tapio was leading.
Yeah.
When he went down and got picked up by his fellow competitor, who was not far behind him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he stepped up into a life raft, which he meant to do.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to find out, because it wasn't exactly boat breaking conditions. It was quite benign at the time when it all happened. But basically, you might be right, Jordan. She's another one lost to King Neptune.
Well,
but fortunately, he 24 hours he spent, got picked up, and then been transferred to a bulk carrier, which will be making its way to probably China. Who knows? There could be a good story after this.
Get on a bike and go for a ride.
So his boat was Asteria. The thing that makes me think about it is he was east of Port Elizabeth, so off the east coast of South Africa. So he's gone through the Agulhas Current, and that can be pretty horrendous when you come past Cape Town there. If you cut close, maybe caught a bit of that, but
I think you'll find what actually did happen was the Sunfish Union didn't make it all the way out the other side. So
they were just hanging out.
No,
they were on their way back home
because they've got to get to Hobart.
Back down for the blue. Didn't you, but
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. They've come back
mate.
around and they're coming back across to see us. But
yeah.
anyway,
he could be onto
and,
something.
and he was on an SNS 34 too.
But lucky for Tapio, I've actually had the pleasure of speaking with Tapio, actually, and full of life. So we are going to be hearing some more about this story.
Okay.
Stand by.
Standing by.
Well done to all involved.
Yep. Cool. I think that's us for the week, boys.
That's us.
It's us.
Big week. Good show.
Love it.
Bloody
Love
bonza.
Well done.
Love
Rock and
it.
roll.
Lots of fun.
Another
being
cat
had.
whacker.
Lots of
Hey,
sailing.
Another
Hey.
cat whacker. What's going on?
People are starting to talk about you, Jordan.
I know. I've become
With all
I've
these
been
cat whackers.
converted. Yeah. Well, we might. We never know quite how the week's going to play out, but at this stage, we've got a gold medalist coming on next week. How's that?
Good.
And not a cat
I
sailor.
like it.
God, mate. Come on. My guitar's getting,
Oh, yeah,
guitar's getting warm.
Yep. I think you broke a string, BP. You want to fix that?
I've done it.
Okay. Cool.
Gold medalist. Who's it going to be? Catch a streamer.
And well, we're coming up to our 200th show, so there's some big names about to drop, boys. There's some stuff. I've been
What
busy.
number are we on again?
186.
From memory?
From memory, 186. Good work, everyone. See you later. Right now, for a professional, this is where we have sponsors.
Yeah. Brought to you by Nick Bias is dressed
By
by
November.